Well, we're back for another review and breakdown of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Again, thanks for joining us here on All Star Fandom. I'm not alone. I got my group of Goonies with me as well. So we're gonna just jump right into it. So hold on tight. Again, we're going into an adventure. Really excited about this next episode and ready to dive in. So we'll see you on the other side of this. Oh my goodness. MacBooks, I tell you. It's always something. We're not alone. I got my guy Doc with me, and making her another appearance. We have Jen, our resident expert. I apologize. This touchpad is super sensitive. I thought I clicked it. Apparently I didn't. And I clicked it again. And I thought I didn't click it. And I clicked it again. So it just went all around the way. But how's everybody doing? Doc, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm tired though. I'm ready for Christmas break, bro.
I can tell with the Santa Claus hat on and everything, and red, donning your red. You seem like you are ready for this one.
Man.
So
I'm ready to open presents.
So okay, and Jen, let everybody know how you're doing today before we dive into this episode.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me back. This episode was so good.
This was a really, really good one. But like I said, if you're watching on the replay or watching us live, jump in the comments. Let us know what you thought about episode 3. And also like, share, subscribe. Do all the social media stuff that everybody asks you to do it. Do it for us. We do it for you. But so let's go before we jump into the breakdown of the episode and everything. Let's just give a brief sort of synopsis of what all happened. So, man, I tell you, his MacBook is killing me. All right, so in episode 3 of Star Wars Skeleton Crew, titled "Very Interesting as a Astrogration Problem," the narrative deepens as the children navigate their space escape from the pirate captivity. They are aided by Jad Nawud, who is known by his aliases as Captain Silvo and Crimson Jack. While Jad assists the children, his motivations appear self-serving, aiming to utilize their ship at his own escape. However, he demonstrates moments of self-sacrifice to gain their cooperation. This episode also dives into Jad's complex character, revealing his multiple identities and ambiguous relationship with the Force. This complexity is further explored through his interactions with the children, particularly KB, who exhibits a balanced perspective of his intentions. Meanwhile, on the children's home planet, their parents grapple with the disappearance, interacting with the safety droid and the supervisor who oversees their restrictive environment. This subplot hints a deeper revelation about the children's origins and the supervisor's true nature, setting the stage for future developments. At the suggestion of Jad, and I love this whole scene, he decides to visit a friend and help them find their way back to Aden. Jen, I'm going to ask you, was her name Kim or Kayam?
Kim.
Kim, I knew it. I knew I spelled it like I heard it. Who is a brilliant astronomer.
But then, like when you look at the closed caption, the way they spell it, anyone named Kim, that's how you spell it into the Star Wars universe.
K-H-Y-M-M. But yes, a brilliant astronomer and navigator whose knowledge of the galaxy and the star systems is crucial in locating at Aden. Her expertise becomes pivotal as she provides the children with data that could lead them closer to Aden. However, she also contacts the New Republic patrol to apprehend Jad, who she knows as Crimson Jack, revealing his distrust of him. The crew narrowly escapes as to not hurt the children on board, but through this happening, we get this image right here, which was the best part of the show to me, because once he was able to hop in that seat,
he was so excited.
It was all on, man. So that was a lot for episode 3, about a 40-minute episode. I'll start with Jen. Takeaways from, or initial reactions from episode 3.
Oh man, I feel with this one, each episode is building nicely, so it's definitely getting better and better. Big takeaways was just more of the information we got, and then I'm noticing something trending with the shows now, where fans are asking, well, if it was that easy, why didn't he just do it? And then the next episode they ask the obvious question and then answer the obvious question that everyone is asking. I'm starting to notice that more in a lot of these new shows, and I think that's a great choice for the writing style for the show, just because of how our fandom can be. I with all due respect. But the information that we got in this episode, to build on the assumptions, the hypothesis that we were talking about last episode, I really love that. And then I love Kim. I don't know if we're going to get more of her in this series, but I love her. She had a je ne sais quoi of Archimedes from The Sword and the Stone. To me, for me, like my little child, because it's one of my favorite all-time Disney films, is The Sword and the Stone, and I love Archimedes. So I was just like, we have Archimedes in Star Wars. This is fantastic.
And just seeing her, how she would, again, seeing the room, her observatory that she was in, like just all the maps, all the information that she knows or tries to find out. I'm anxious to see how that plays again. Jen?
Yeah, like that whole scene and her collection that she has, a wealth of knowledge.
So much. Doc, what was your initial reactions from episode 3?
So just to comment a little bit on Lil' Kim. Check this out. She gonna have to get her weight up, and she gonna be out here attacking people, bro.
Lil' Kim, is that what you said?
God just called her Lil' Kim.
She got to get her weight up if she gonna be out here attacking people. Did you not see the way my man throw her into them stacks? Like, hey, get out of me.
She's a cat owl. She's
a cat owl. Wow, that's a hell of a combination. Look, let me tell you something, man.
Cool. I'm like, I'm here.
Let me tell you something. That was a cool character to be introduced. I'm liking this whole new adventure deal with the kids and John Wood? Am I saying that wrong?
So it's John Nana Wood.
John Nana Wood. So I said it right. Okay.
Yeah, John Nana Wood. So, or Crimson Jack.
Yeah, so I don't like him. I don't like him.
Oh, okay. Let's dissect this. What's the reason behind your dislike?
First of all, we already know that he is in this for himself. I hate the fact that Wim is so. Is it gullible? Is he so gullible?
Gullible and trusting. Like
he was like, no.
Trusting. Like
everything out of William's mouth. No, he a Jedi. My man ain't saying nothing. But no, he a Jedi. Trust me, he a Jedi, bro.
Fern was on it this episode, though. I was like, get him, Fern. Get him,
Fern and KB. And Neil was just like right in the middle of the road, like, no, he might be a Jedi.
Like Neil's just like, I'm just here.
Yeah,
I don't want everyone to argue.
And he is just the cutest. Oh my god, he's so cute. Anyway, so check this out. I enjoyed the episode, but is it just me, or are these episodes extremely short?
Well, this one was 40 minutes with credits. So that would have been a little about 36, maybe. That's long credits. That's a lot of credits.
Yeah, if you take out the credits, it's about a 30-minute show.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that because, and I don't know, Jen, maybe you can ask me this. Is that because it's children? Because normally a Star Wars episode like Mandalorian, Boba Fett, or whatever, go about an hour, 50 minutes plus, right?
It has to also do sometimes with the storytelling style, because when you look at these different shows like Rebels and Andor and The Mandalorian, they have a specific age target. So like with Andor, I feel that was really aimed for hardcore Star Wars fans of a certain age that either have been with Star Wars since the very beginning, those fans who saw the original films back in the 70s and 80s and have grown with Star Wars, plus some of the newer fans who are adults. So sometimes with the kind of story you're going to tell, it requires different storytelling and different length of the story. Because my personal opinion for Andor, for example, is the way they did the storytelling in that and the template that they used. I thought it was really well done and a really good fit for Star Wars storytelling. But then with this one, it's a little bit of it's a bit of a different vibe. You do have kids involved. So even though it's within the Star Wars universe, this kind of storytelling, I think, requires a different sense and time frame. But again, like I said last week, 1 and 2 could have been one episode, and I personally would have been fine with that length.
Yeah.
And because each show series has not done the same thing with timing, it's hard to gauge sometimes what's the best timing to do shows where you give enough information and enough time to absorb it to go to the next episode. So to me, I'm not really noticing that they're too short because I like how they're ending, where they're ending it intentionally. But then there's many people out there who will say, this is just too short. I want more. Well,
I don't have a problem with it being short because I am watching this with my daughter now. So I don't mind it being a 30-minute show, which is fine. But I'm hoping, like when The Mandalorian comes back out, that they don't do the same format, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, it might just be like Jen said with this certain property or this certain show or idea or script or story. This is what they're getting to, or this is what we're getting from it. I felt like I knew it was ending. You know, the slow turn, look up to space. I was like, oh, we're about to die.
You could tell, yeah.
But I was like,
but I'm saying, Dion, did you get the feeling like, man, that was a quick episode when you saw that?
It's one of those episodes I was like, dag nabbit.
Yeah, I wanted more. Like, you want more.
Yeah,
but I feel like there was a lot in this too.
But
it was a lot.
That's a good sign that we want more. That means they're doing something right, that we're like, oh man, I gotta wait.
Yeah.
And then just real quick, and I think with this show, the target audience is definitely trying to get a younger audience. So because of TikTok, younger audiences are not going to sit for probably longer than 30 minutes anyway.
Whatever. If they went to see Moana, yes, they will.
Well, it depends on the property sometimes. You know what I mean?
Facts. I can't argue with that. People went to go see Moana.
but looking at this episode, this one had a lot of things happen in it. First, we had to escape. First, we had to go find Kim to see if we can get to the story of Ad. We even dive into deeper things into Ad, the great work and all that stuff that we need to sort of break down or sort of go through. So that mine just overall initial reaction with this one, again, I love Wim. Wim is probably my favorite. He's there for the ride. He's there for whatever adventure you can give him. Yep. That smile he hit to get in that seat, because he was mad that he was not, he wasn't driving.
Yeah.
He was mad. He was mad that he wasn't driving.
He got mad because he wasn't captain. He got mad because he wasn't driving. But then he's like, I'm putting you in the gun seat. And then the look on his face.
That smile killed me. Because it automatically...
You just knew. Knew.
He is down for the adventure, and I love it. But I guess we can just dive in a few beats of it, of the beginning of Skeleton Crew. I always want to say Skeleton Key for some reason. I don't know why. I'm struggling with that. But with this one, we see them break out. Obviously, we get the answer that we got from last week. He needs a ship. And we knew that from the get-go. They escape, but they go back and get their buddy SM-33.
Mr. Smee.
Yeah.
I missed that last week. I was like, oh yeah, it does smell Smee, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I've been calling him Smee.
So this whole part, they're seeing the Force. They seeing him use the Force. Wim and Neil thinks he's a Jedi. Fern is just coming up with reasons why he couldn't be. Well, how do you make it float?
Yeah,
string,
string magnets. Like, she gave a list. I was like, Yes, educate the boy.
Fern wasn't going, bro. And then KB was just like right there with her. She was like,
so I want to back up just a little bit if we could. So one of the things I noticed, because I've watched this episode twice already, and one of the things I noticed with the opening of the show with the parents and the safety droid is, and I don't know what's going to happen, but just how quiet the dad is. And he's just because I know people respond to traumatic situations or emergency situations differently. Everyone has their own unique quirks and everything, but he's just really taking it in and being very quiet. And this question came up for me in both times that I watched it. What do you know?
Yes. Yeah, not only that, but I told y'all last week. What did I tell y'all last week? This planet was hidden for a reason. I told y'all this.
I didn't disagree with you. And I
said, and I don't think y'all paid attention when y'all were watching the first episode. Y'all probably did. If you looked up at the sky, only thing you saw were red lights. That's the barrier. That's why the kids didn't see millions of stars like we see
when they got there.
And then the swirls as well.
And then the swirls of gas, right?
Gas. Yeah, they confirmed that in this episode what that was.
And I'm okay, Dion, I'm gonna let you get us back on track after this. But it was just the way what you were saying about him, about William's dad. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, either he knows something. I don't know how high of an official he is, but maybe he does know something. Or maybe he's contemplating on stealing the starship so he can go find his boy.
It's that's another thing. What I'm liking about the show, both with the dad and Crimson Jack, is that they're really intentionally doing the right. It's like, well, it could be this, but it really could be that. Yep. At the same time, we're getting like tiny pieces of clarity, but then not enough, which is making it very interesting because both times I asked the same question, like, what do you know? Because like I said last week, which has to do with Addin and some of the thoughts I had last week that I feel like are getting turned one way, but then there's still the possibility of the other hypothesis where Palpatine is involved and that the Sith are involved with this planet and usurping the resources of the secret gold to fund like the Necromancer secret project and all those things that Palpatine was doing for cloning. So he could live forever. So I'm finding it very interesting that, if it does go that way, if he's in that group of Palpatine's team, but now because his son is involved, he has a conflict. Like, I was told my kid wasn't going to be messed with, and now he's in space. And
well, his kid wasn't messed with. William hit the button. It's William's fault. Like,
no, I don't deny that, but I'm just saying, like, because the father doesn't know that.
I think he's more upset at the fact that the droid was like, "Calm down, ain't nobody going nowhere."
True, but because I do believe like there's a secret, right? He knows that secret. He knows what they were trying to protect.
I think so because I was really paying attention to what the droids are saying in the background, and one of the things that really stuck out was any violation of the planet-wide protocols will result in security action. I'm like, What's the planet-wide protocols?
Yeah, and what's the security action? Because my question is, when the kids return back to Addin, I know we going to the end. When they return back to Addin, what will the droids try to do to them as punishment for breaching the barrier?
And I think they're bringing people back. I think they're being.
And now we have 2 X-wings. What happens?
Because here's the thing: if they bring the Crimson Jack back, you already know he gonna put the word out, or he gonna try to take all the gold for himself. Which I'm pretty sure he can't take all the gold.
Well, we also have the other pirates are going to be after him too. Just a thought. I think they're Jaleel White and are going to be after them, right? So that's my thought.
Because they put a bounty on all of them.
And then and that's another question. It's like, so what if they are tracing them through space, by whatever means you can trace somebody through hyperspace.
You can.
And then you show up to Addin, and then all of a sudden all these starships start popping up out of nowhere. How is Addin going to defend themselves? Because they don't look like they have an army or nothing.
They're all analysts, but you never know.
I mean, you don't know what protocols these droids have if something were to happen to protect the planet. That's the other thing. Because all droids, no matter where they are, depending on how they serve the planet, have certain protocols. Like we got the really nice callback with the battle droid.
Yes, I wrote that down just now.
He woke up and he's like, "Did we win?
Did we win?"
And then of course you are like battle droids.
So that leads me to another question: is SM-33 a battle droid because of the weaponry he had?
Possibly, and he turned to piracy, maybe, or his ship got overrun by pirates and then became a pirate droid just because of what happened. So, yeah, absolutely. To your point about these starships coming, what's interesting about Adam more so now, it is leading toward more of hidden planets in the lore in different constellations within Star Wars, and how pirates would fight over certain planets. Because it also possibly has a tie to some of the legend stories, like with what was it? I wrote it down. The Great War with the pirates, I think, versus the Sith that happened in legend stories. It has some hues to that, which I found very interesting. So it could lead to that too. That all these pirates are trying to track down Crimson Jack, and you can do that through hyperspace. There's ways to do that, tracking starships through hyperspace, finding their path, and then all these people come to Aden, and all of a sudden maybe Siths appear.
So how do they track them? An ion trail, a chemtrail? Like, how do you track somebody through hyperspace?
I don't remember. I have to bring that back next week, but it is possible.
Wow, that's what I was thinking. That's where my brain went.
Yeah, and then there's also track. One of the ways is putting trackers on a starship, like concealing a tracker to where you can track a starship, which you can find out where they're going. And I think some of them have the capability of being tracked through hyperspace, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that was also very interesting. And then one theory that is possible, but I don't know if it will get confirmed, the fact that Crimson Jack has the name Crimson, that could be a tie to the pirate gang Crimson Dawn. Because they were around the time, I think they were starting up around the time the Solo movie takes place in the timeline of Star Wars, and then they have been consistent throughout. So it could be a tie to the Crimson Dawn gang out there. So, because I found that interesting, like, why Crimson? So it could be a tie to that, but I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, so that, again, I think the way I had just everything written, I think I was jumping back to, I forgot that the parents were at the beginning when I was writing it, but just seeing his face, seeing his reaction, Doc, I kind of want to go on board with you, like, let me go get this ship to go find my son.
Yeah.
That's the action hero in me thinking, though. Yeah. I don't know if his dad
any parent would do that. It's like, okay, if they're not going to help us, how do we get past the barrier? Is there another star we could use to get past the barrier?
Like, you got to think about it. Think about it. His dad is an analyst, which means they bring him stuff to analyze, which means he constantly thinking. And
well, the kids are figuring it out too, which is what I enjoy the most.
Neil was the one who brought it up because they're talking about the hidden treasure, going, well, what do your parents do? My dad's an analyst. My mom's an analyst. Mine too. What are they analyzing? The money?
The money. Right. Yep. Right. Put that bowl down.
The food was delicious.
Yeah. So with that being said, like, we know his dad is intelligent, and he probably does know several secrets, right? And then if they band together, I'm pretty sure, what's her name? Fern's mom, who is higher, I guess she's ranked higher than everybody, right?
She is.
I'm pretty sure she might have access to something to where they could steal a ship and possibly go after their children.
She could be a secret Sith.
Oh, God.
Well, she just said.
She could be a secret Sith serving Palpatine for all.
Yeah, I mean, my question is, I know that's your theory, but man, let me tell you how I will flip out if that's how, if that all ties together at the end of the last episode, I will flip out.
No, it's going to be interesting to try to tie all this up or see where it goes at least,
Yeah. It's one of the theories, especially when we get more into what is at Aten? Why is it hidden? Why was it the only planet not destroyed with all the other planets that were protected?
But from what Kim was doing when she was doing her research, it was about 10,000 planets that wasn't destroyed, that was supposed to be destroyed, that were hidden, because they had a list of hidden planets, which I'm trying to understand how they get that list of hidden planets, right? It was a list of hidden planets that they were going around destroying because they were just checking off the list. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how they get this list? Where is this list? And how do the kids get their hands on it? Because I know Jod said he got the coordinates, like she found the coordinates to at Aden.
Yep.
But I don't think those were the right coordinates. Kim does not trust him.
And it's again, like right now, like with most things at this moment, it's one of two ways. It's either the coordinates or she came up with bogus coordinates so she could get find a way to catch.
I think that's why he was sitting there.
And the kids, because she was purposely stalling for the X-Wings, because she contacted the Republic.
Yeah.
So it is possible that she did that. So.
And then I got so many questions. Let me ask one more question. But what happens? One more question. Yeah. So what happens if the guys flying the X-Wings catch the babies and see they have old Republic money? What happens?
I think it's just like you have. There's so many things that could happen. One of the main things, because this also has to tie into the films somehow, is that it could be another pitfall to how the New Republic becomes the new First Order in the sequels of Star Wars, because that does come about. That is going to happen. Which is why this new Republic order does fall, and you have this new rise of the First Order come back. You know, there are replications of what the Empire was doing, and you're like, why are you doing that? That's what the Empire did. That's really suspicious, because you still have these people who are in support of the Empire also infiltrating this new order, this new Republic. Yeah. So if those individuals who are infiltrating this new Republic, you know, that could be one of the ways that leads to that. So that is one way. Or they do the right thing. They figure out where Aden is and take the kids home. Then we no longer have a story.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But no, but I think we've covered or jumped around a bit, but I wanted to pull this up too. It gave me very Lord of the Ring vibes.
Yeah.
E.T. flying in front of the moon, stuff like that. You know, it was like, and I know we talked about it before of how it feels like that adventure movie that we grew up watching. This image alone to me was like, I can't wait to see the next, 6 episodes or so? Well, no, 4.
It's 5 episodes.
5 episodes. I can't do math. Yeah, because we got two last week. Yeah. But just these images alone, this planet alone, these images, the visuals in this episode were amazing to me. Somewhat limited in some areas, but then we get shots like these, and it tells you, or reminds me at least, that Star Wars can be a very big story. Yeah. In multiple galaxies, and tell stories like these that we enjoy, especially a crew of kids too. But since we dove into a few of the highlights and up and downs of the show, I did have just a general question. And I'm going to pose to y'all. Where is the buzz for this show? Because is it not enough coming off of Acolyte with the cancellation of the Acolyte, or is it just another Star Wars series fans think is just for kids? So where's the buzz for it? Doc, I throw it to you first.
So this is what I'm thinking, because I'm not saying Star Wars will ever lose their fandom, their core fandom. Nope. I think Star Wars is looking for a younger group of fans.
A new generation?
Yes, I'm thinking they're looking for a new generation of fans, just like Marvel and DC and anybody else. They're looking for a younger generation of fans. So why not introduce, why not introduce new characters and, a new story?
That's one of the reasons why George Lucas invented the character Jar Jar Binks, because he was trying to find a way to get younger generations to come to Star Wars. So there's always going to be an effort to get new younger generations to come to Star Wars. And I think one of the brilliance of this show, like season 1 of The Mandalorian, it's actually a good starting point where you don't need to know. So far from what I've seen, you really don't need to know a lot of lore or anything, or really have to do homework with this one. You can just come in and enjoy a really fun story.
Yeah.
And it could be a really good entry point for people who want to get into Star Wars, but are like, there's just so much. It's like, just watch this one.
Well, I hate having to try to sometimes explain Star Wars to people, because you got to understand.
Oh, I love it. Just send them to me.
Star
Like,
Wars
Jen is here.
I'm saying, you know how massive Star Wars is, so you got to think like within Star Wars, this is a story that possibly not just happened to these children, but several other children across the galaxy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, like the kids can really relate to this. Seeing kids their own age in a Star Wars story, just on an adventure. It's like when we were growing up as kids, we would just go out in the backyard, get dirty, and just used our imaginations. Like this is what this is. And
we would actually really go on an adventure like me and my brothers did, and get into some real trouble.
Oh yeah, I was watching another YouTube reaction channel of their thoughts, and it was like, oh yeah, I did that when I was a kid. We would go into the woods, and I came home this way to make my mom think I was coming home a different way, so I wouldn't get in trouble. I actually rolled around in the dirt like I had a bike accident.
Man, you don't know how much we got into when we was little.
Right?
But yeah, it just doesn't seem like that usual Star Wars hype is there. My thoughts behind it is that this show is a really good. It's a good show. Like I've enjoyed the first 3 episodes. It's something new from Star Wars, something we haven't seen before. Where kids, all kids lead in Jude Law. Like it's like he's a babysitter. He's a nanny. Like he's.
I made
it's not though.
I made a comment that if he were in the room, he would say to me like, "I've never heard that before." I was like, "Oh look, Jude's breaking the law." So far, I think this show actually has a good vibe. It's have so far a lot of positive fan reaction. There's not a lot of negative. And then after the first 2 episodes drop, it already got up to 95% on Rotten Tomatoes and at 82% of on the popcorn meter. So it's doing really well. It's in the top 3 of Star Wars shows. Star Wars Rebels is still number 1. Andor, of course, is number 2. And now this show is number 3. So it's in the top 3. So it's doing well. I think the vibe is great.
Dion, like for your question, man. Listen, man, when you can get the children, when you can get the youth on your side, and you got something hot, it's gonna grow.
Yep.
So I mean, I know we're early in the season, but I'm expecting season 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's hard for me, just looking at this one, it almost feels like if there's no, I feel like people hate watch The Acolyte. I feel that way at times when I see other reviews or hear people talk.
Can we do another show and talk about that one? I have so much to say.
Yeah, I felt like and that was a really enjoyable one too. Not being like such a
we got freaking Trinity from the Matrix with the green lightsaber, people.
Man, people
but remember the reason why the vitriol came for that one in particular.
Get over it.
Thank you.
But I felt like if it's not like some hate towards it, not a lot of eyeballs are on it. I feel still like people hate watch. This is actually really good. Acolyte was good to me too. But this is wholesome. This is enjoyable. This is light.
Anyone can watch it.
Exactly. Yeah. So is that not appealing to like the masses of a Star Wars fandom?
I think so.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so because one of the complaints I've been hearing recently with certain shows, including Acolyte, is like, well, I don't want to have to watch a Star Wars show and have to do all this homework.
Thank you. I was just about to say that.
So, but here's the thing, to the point one of you just made, this universe is massive and it's continuing to grow. So with some of the storytelling, Andor, for example, you don't have to do homework for it, but then you need some homework for it because you have to have a basic understanding of the Empire. Well, what is the Empire? Who is it? Is Palpatine around? there's some information you need to know. The Acolyte, that I thought was an excellent show. There is some homework involved that you need to do so you have a basic understanding. When Ahsoka came out, this is the one thing I didn't agree with Filoni with, was he says, you don't have to watch Rebels or anything, and I'm like, no, you have to watch Rebels.
And that's how I felt watching that.
How she got to where she was.
And that's how you and I felt watching it.
Yeah,
that's where I was like, sir, I mean, no disrespect. I thank you for everything you're doing with Star Wars, but no, don't tell people that. They need to do that. They have to binge it. And I would tell people, binge it. Binge it.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to jump on what Jen just said. Man, people don't want to do research anymore. They don't want to go back. Man, we've been watching Star Wars since the very first Star Wars. And we've watched everything that's come out after that. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And people's like, man, do I got to go start all the way back over?
Yes.
Not necessarily when it comes to certain stories.
Sorry, I'm kidding.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, not necessarily when it comes to certain stories. That's why I said I kind of get tired of trying to explain Star Wars to people. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing,
I warn people. I'm like, listen, the moment you ask me a question, I'm going to go and not stop and keep you here for 3 hours.
But
just know who you're talking to.
But here's the funny thing, though. A lot of these shows like this, it's been a long day, man. A lot of hands, man. All the hands. But a lot of shows like this are introductions to the entirety of that Star Wars universe.
Yes.
So when Mandalorian dropped, my wife had not watched a single Star Wars movie, but she watched The Mandalorian with me. Loved it. Then she was like, okay, how did we get here and what happened? We went back and watched the movies in order. We went back and watched the animated stuff just so she knew about it, because there was an interest there. It wasn't like I was forcing it down her throat, like, hey, you need to know this.
Right.
It was a good entry point for her, because she saw a story where essentially she didn't have to do really any homework for that one. It was just a really cool show that in a way went back to basics. And a fun adventure with a bounty hunter and a baby.
And I just tell people, you got to want to enjoy a story and some sci-fi and a little bit of silliness. You got to want that.
Well, and you also, and I think in being a Star Wars fan for as long as I have, there is a danger with the massiveness of this franchise. Headcanon really gets in the way sometimes, where it can take away from just sitting down and just watching a story.
So I do have an additional question for Ja. His Force abilities. Is there an explanation for that? Is there a thought behind that? Because I don't see a string anywhere. So
I love her. She was like, string? Yes, very thin string.
So I don't see that anywhere. Jen, is there any idea of did he master it on his own? What's your thoughts on that?
No, it's possible. Because one of the things that the Star Wars franchise is double downing on is everyone has the Force, and they have the capability of learning to hone the Force. And I like that we're getting that consistency, because to me, when I think about the whole Star Wars universe and the Force and what the Force is and what it's supposed to do, it really does make sense that there are people who will have a really strong, unique gift that code to the path of the Jedi or the Sith, depending how their story goes. And then there are others that may not be as strong, but then have some sense of, wait, I just moved my hand and that thing moved. How did I do that? And then you have your own unique interest in I can manipulate movement. I mean, if I were able to really do that in real life, I would try to figure it out. Yes, to answer your question, yes, there is capability for someone who may not be a Jedi, who can still find a way to use the Force, even though it's not at its fullest potential. So making a noise in the distance, turning off a light. And especially if this guy is not a Jedi, and the fact that he's been living in piracy, he's going to use certain tricks like that to, one, create that illusion. Because there are moments where I thought, yeah, you might be.
I sound like Neo right now.
Well, no, there are moments.
Boy, I ain't trust him from out the gate.
It's so funny. A lot of people, a lot of fans that I've been watching reviews. A lot of people say, "I don't like him, but I love Kim. I love him. I'm here for Kim." They're like, "I don't like him, but I like him." Anyway,
because you have to think though.
But
how did they become friends?
Again, there's more information we need to get. And he said to her that, "I know we left on bad terms. What did you do?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do?"
Mm-hmm.
But then, like the moment with KB,
he's a pirate for goodness sakes,
right? Like, where's Captain Jack? Jack, why did you do that?
What do you expect?
Pirate. But like the moment he had with KB, there was a moment where I had a moment of, you might.
Yeah.
You might. Because you have to also remember that, here's a little bit more lore. Back from the golden era of the Jedi, it was more acceptable in the High Republic days where Jedi would become wayfinders, that they leave the temple because they trusted the leading of the Force and what the Force wanted them to do. And it's another reason why the Jedi fall with Order 66, because they get away from that. When you watch Tales of the Empire, you see one of the Jedi go through the rigorous training of becoming a Sith, but then breaking away from it and going to the path she always wanted to be, which was being a healer. That's what she really wanted to do. But then the Jedi Order would not let her, because that was not the way to do things. So it was normal in a time where people would become wayfinders and do what they felt the Force was leading them to do, whether it was being a healer or doing a pilgrimage in our terms. So there's also the possibility that maybe he was a Jedi and he might have left before Order 66 to become a wayfinder and then just fell into piracy. Or like with Kale Kestis from the games, Order 66 happened when he was a kid and he works in a junkyard to have a cover story.
Yeah.
Crimson Jack could be his cover story for all we know. That's also still a possibility. It's not completely ruled out. But again, back to your main question, there's also the possibility that he has learned how to use the Force to a certain extent, and he's not a Jedi, but can still use the Force.
Well, I don't know if I trust him or not. We know. give me a second.
I don't trust him either, honestly. He's too good.
Well, he's after a treasure, right? He's after. Yes. He's like Loki, man. He's been burdened with the glorious purpose, and that's to find that treasure. Glorious purpose. Yeah, and that's to find that treasure. Because it started out them opening up a giant room, and only one credit was in there. So I think he is looking for that.
That one guy patted on Max like, sorry.
Yeah. So he's looking for that huge score. I get it. But there has been parts where I feel like he showed some humanity, but was that humanity just to get cooperation out of it?
I was thinking,
what I mean?
Anybody can show humanity to get to what
he
they
went
want.
back and got SM-33.
Well, no, like right now, his main goal now is getting to Ad-Aden. But then I can definitely see with him being with the kids for so long, they're gonna rub off on him, and like how the old pirates say, "You gone soft."
Yeah, and he's gonna be he's gonna be that hero that Ad needs, man.
Possibly.
Let me tell you something.
Nope.
I don't think so. When they first showed him when he stepped out with them Star Wars Mummy 33s, I was like, no, I don't even trust your shoes, bro. I don't trust that man. I don't care. I don't care how long he be with them children. As soon as he get the and see any type of gold,
I don't trust your shoes,
bro. Soon as he see any type of gold, any type of treasure, I promise you, I have a feeling he gonna turn on them babies, man.
No, there's gonna come a time where he needs to save those kids, and he's going to. Okay, I see the. Sorry, y'all. I see the good in people. I'm sorry.
Well, no, with Star Wars storytelling. George has done this from the beginning. He's all about redemption arcs.
I'm cool with that. But what I'm
Star
scared,
Wars is all about redemption arcs. So someone somewhere is gonna get redeemed.
Well, I'm not saying I'm scared, but I'm just when your man's when Wim pull out that money that he got, we're gonna see his reaction. Because he don't know Wim got money right now. He don't know he got those old craters that's worth so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So once he discover that, we're gonna see how he act, and then
it's gonna be a test to his character.
It is.
Now, if he known throughout the universe as a pirate, bro, you think them kids gonna stop him from being a pirate? Come on, bro.
I mean, after everything,
I love Kim. She's like, and look at all of these children. Are all of them yours?
Yeah.
Get him, Kim. Get him.
Oh, real quick thing about Kim too. I like that she is CGI, but she moves like a puppet. I don't know if you all noticed that.
I think she's a little bit of both.
I thought so. I haven't looked at any behind the scenes.
Because there were scenes where I was like, no, that's a puppet.
I know there were
kind of
scenes
remind you of a Jim Henson character. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's a little bit of both.
But I love the fact that even when it did switch from CGI, it didn't move smooth.
Yeah, it was
still like
every time
somebody's
she
hand.
had a thought and screeched and flew away, it made me so happy.
So, man, I think we covered pretty much everything from that episode, and now they're off to Lord knows where. But just general overall like score and takeaways from overall review of this show. And we'll do it on a scale of 1 to 5. We'll do it every week just to see where we are. For me personally, Wim at the end made it a 4 for me. So that was because he was ready. That's the type of kid you need, man, on the team every time.
Circles, shooting up that tree.
And then when he got him, I got him.
Yeah.
No, and Bird was like, that was my shot.
So 4 for me. It was. I enjoyed the episode this week, and I'm looking forward to that next episode. Jen, what's your overall score of this week's episode?
Oh, I'm easy to please in this regard. It's a 5. It's a 5, and a 5 only because I really love it as a consumer of stories. I love when they start going into the nitty gritty details. When Kim was talking about the planets and pulling out the little tidbits, I love that. So that's what made it a 5 for me. Like, and that they didn't rush that scene. They really let Kim had her moment to show her character, her knowledge, and the fact that she's an owl. That owls are really knowledgeable. I was like, thank you, whoever thought that. Bravo. Really, really good. And that an owl would actually have an astronomy layer. I think that was brilliant. And just all these different collections. There's also other details that we didn't get to talk about that I found interesting. And now because like what that we learned in the beginning was that KB's parents were like, she has a medical condition. We can't monitor her health anymore. So now I'm really worried for KB. Like every time I look at her, I'm like, are you okay? Are you okay? Or like when she was sitting up in bed, I'm like, what's wrong?
Yeah,
I'm nervous for KB now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories that are weaving through just this main story. There's a lot of everybody has something, or has some sort of direction to go in.
Oh, and then I love Smee and how he confronted Jack and he got taller and stared down.
He followed up on him.
He was just like, I'm gonna beat you up. And the way he poked him, he was like, ow.
Yeah.
And then the way he said and then went back down and came back and he went,
I know, right?
Yeah.
I love that. I was like, oh, 33, aka Smee, I love you.
He has quite the personality too. You
know who that is, right?
We went over. What's his name?
Nick Frost.
Yeah.
Especially when he told him to wash the bowl, and he was like,
another surprise small cameo that a lot of people didn't pick up on, but I was like, oh my golly. Benjar.
Yeah.
Prunick, that was Alfred Molina.
Oh, really?
Was it?
That was Alfred Molina. Because when I first heard, like, no, is that? Oh my gosh! I hear your voice. Hi, we missed you. Thank you for being in Star Wars.
I did not know. I didn't even look.
That was Alfred Molina.
Wow.
Yeah,
I would love to do some more exploring at the Pirate Bay though, because my boys, the Jawas, were there.
That's the Star Wars.
Everybody was there. Everybody was there, dude.
Tortuga.
just have a camera there the whole day. Like just want to watch who comes in and what happens. Doc, overall score, man. What you got?
Man, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 4.5. Let me tell you something. And the 0.5 is for the cutest snore I ever heard in my life.
Right. I love it.
Yeah, y'all ain't never heard nothing so cute.
And then, I'm not tired.
Yeah. My daughter turned to me. She said, "Daddy, I want some blue milk now." I said, "Oh, Star Wars make you want to get some blue milk?"
Come out. Did she not try it when we went to?
Yeah, she did.
She tried it, did she?
Yeah, she did.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I love it.
So yeah, man, anything that make my daughter want to be, you know what I'm saying, into it is something I like, man. Yeah, I go ahead and give it 4.5, dog. I really enjoyed the show. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the rest of the episodes. I appreciate the storytelling.
Yeah,
I like the excitement you get from the children. Like it's like real kid excitement. It seems like when they're doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm liking the kid adventure.
I liked also how the kids were like, "We're not letting you on until you tell us the truth. What's the truth? Yeah, what's the truth? What's the truth?" And then Smith just like lights his hand up, like, "Touch him."
Yeah,
touch him. He's like, "Ah."
No, I mean it's just kids being kids. It's like
That's
if we put them out into a galaxy, it's just kids being kids. Yep. I do enjoy that they're smart and they're aware of things.
Mm-hmm.
They're figuring out this money stuff. They're figuring out this analyst job stuff. They're figuring out all this stuff on the fly all the time. They're just happy to drive a ship and shoot guns too, man. Shoot lasers, man. Like that's.
Yep.
I mean, come on. If we all have that opportunity, you know, our inner child will be like, yes.
Yep. Like this is a dream of mine.
For
this is a dream of mine. I would have reacted the exact same way.
I just want one fight scene in a Star Wars film. I don't care if you kill me. Just give me one fight.
Fight scene.
One fight scene. Like let me have it a little length in there, and then you could kill me off and be done.
I think I've even, and we'll close out. But I think I've even told Doc this. I watch a lot of Law and Order. I just always want to be like the what we got guy. You know, like
what we got.
You hear what we got. I tell them, and then I just walk off. I just walk off.
You want to be that guy, but like, look, we got a murder with a deadly weapon, and he got hit in the back of the head.
Boom! I'm out.
Yep.
That's it.
There's one other small dream I would love to live out one day. I love watching Stephen Colbert. Every time he has a guest on and they play like a clip from a film, he turns to his guy and says, "Jim," and he plays the clip. I'm like, I just want to say Jim and a clip plays.
Clip plays.
I'll be good.
we don't want much. We're easy to satisfy here.
Yeah,
but that was
little things.
Yeah. But I mean, that was our review of episode 3. A lot to cover, a lot that we covered through that one. It was a really fun one. I enjoyed it from start to finish. Every week now, I'm sort of looking forward to, well, especially it's only been 2 weeks now because we got 2 episodes at the beginning, but it's something I look forward to watch on Tuesdays now.
Yeah.
It's just like TV. I got to wait till 9 o'clock here so it can come on and I can watch it.
Me too. I'm on the 9 o'clock hour. It's just
thanks a lot, Disney Plus.
9. People in LA are so lucky you get it at 6.
Yeah.
Dinner time. You can eat dinner and watch it.
Oh goodness. Yeah. So Jen, tell everybody where they can find you. And again, thanks for joining us through this entire watch or review. We really appreciate it.
No, I'm happy to. Thank you for having me and letting me be a nerd. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok. On TikTok and Instagram, I am at Nerdiqua. And at Instagram, I have another handle at rocking_your_bald. I am going to fix that one day. That's what Instagram gave me. That is my handle for my podcast called Rocking Your Bald. You can check me out on all of those lovely areas to follow me for more.
And Doc, as tradition says, I will let you close us out of this episode today.
Okay, for sure. Hey, everybody, thank y'all for tuning in to the review of episode 3 of the Skeleton Crew. If you haven't checked it out, please go and check it out. It's a really, really wonderful adventure. And I'm here with Jen, Dion, and me, Doc, and we signing off for the evening. Peace.
Bye.